For over a century, the loss of the Titanic has been viewed as a tragedy defined by ice and bad luck. But a forensic review of the wreckage now suggests a very different story. 1,500 people were lost because of 7 human decisions made before the ship ever hit the water, each one made by someone who believed their judgment was superior to the risks of the North Atlantic. In 2020, In 2026, researchers completed the first complete 3D digital scan of the Titanic. This digital twin was assembled from millions of high-resolution images to map the entire wreck and the surrounding debris field, providing a record of the physical damage that was impossible to see in previous expeditions. This autopsy of the wreckage allows us to look past the legends of 1912. It provides the evidence needed to trace the ship's destruction back to a sequence of mechanical and operational failures. The construction of the Titanic was defined by a double-bottom hull and a system of 16 watertight compartments. These features were so advanced for the era that they created a dangerous assumption: the ship was effectively invulnerable. This hull cross-section reveals a fatal flaw. The watertight bulkheads did not reach the main deckline. When the first 5 compartments breached, the bow dipped. The rising water simply spilled over the top of each bulkhead into the next, pulling the ship under. Despite its size, the ship carried only 20 lifeboats. White Star Line designers originally planned for 48, but the number was reduced to ensure the upper decks remained aesthetically pleasing and uncluttered for first-class passengers. The prioritization of visual elegance and an unearned reputation for safety left the Titanic without the physical equipment necessary to save more than half of the souls on board. On the night of the collision, Captain Edward Smith maintained a speed of 22 knots, near the ship's maximum limit. He did not slow down or post additional logouts, despite entering known ice fields. Testimony suggests J. Bruce Ismay, the chairman of White Star Line, pressured Smith to maintain speed to ensure a high-profile early arrival in New York. The ship received 6 wireless warnings of ice in its path, pinpointing a massive ice field. The final, most urgent warning came from the SS Californian, just 20 miles away. Overwhelmed with passenger telegrams, Titanic's operator told the Californian to be silent. The iceberg was not an invisible threat. It was a physical obstacle that had been identified by other ships and reported to the Titanic's bridge multiple times. The command crew sped directly into a known hazard, sacrificing safety for the sake of corporate publicity and passenger convenience. On the morning of April 14th, Captain Smith canceled a scheduled lifeboat drill. The crew was never given the opportunity to practice a coordinated evacuation. When the ship began to sink, the lack of training led to a disorganized response. Lifeboats with a capacity for 65 people were lowered into the water with as few as 12 inside because the crew didn't understand how to load them efficiently. As the Titanic's distress rockets lit the sky, the SS Californian was sitting completely stationary just 20 miles away, within visual range of the disaster. Captain Stanley Lord of the Californian was informed of the rockets, but failed to wake his wireless operator or attempt to rescue. He remained stopped while 1,500 people entered the freezing water. The breakdown of command protocols on both the sinking ship and the nearby vessel eliminated the final chance for human survival. As the bow submerged, the evacuation was dictated by the rigid social hierarchy of the ship's internal architecture. Third-class passengers in the lowest decks were separated from the lifeboats by locked iron gates. As the upper decks cleared, these gates remained locked. The poorest passengers were left to navigate a maze of flat corridors as the water rose around them. The survival rates tell the story of this architecture. 62% of first-class passengers survived. Only 25% of those in third class made it to the surface. Survival on the Titanic was not determined by luck, but by a social system that physically barred the poor from the chance to escape. The 2026 scan reveals the vastness of the debris field, marking the exact path of the ship's final plunge to the seabed. Lying in the sediment are the personal effects of the victims: pairs of shoes resting exactly where they fell, marking the final resting place of those who never reached the lifeboats. The 710 survivors rescued by the Carpathia were the beneficiaries of a system designed to protect their specific interests. A British board of inquiry eventually identified the cascade of choices that left the ship vulnerable. These 1,500 deaths were the result of human decisions made under the assumption the ship was invulnerable. The Titanic remains history's clearest example of the cost of human hubris, a disaster where aesthetics were chosen over safety, and a social structure determined who was allowed to live.